Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to yet another very interesting conversation in our Industry Expert series. I am absolutely privileged to be introducing our guest for today, Mr. Madhav Thapar, who is not only an accomplished logistics professional, but also a published author. Mr. Madhav has over 35 plus years of experience in senior management, holding C-level positions across multinationals in the logistics industry. Currently, he is the Vice President for South Asia, Middle East, and Africa region with C.H. Robinson Global Forwarding, a Fortune 500 company, and is responsible for driving growth and alignment across the region. He is an avid reader, loves sports and travel, and also is an active blogger on social media. Speaking about his writing passion, he has published two novels. The first one, A Friend Like Karna, in 2017, which is also a critically acclaimed novel around the globe, and the second one, The Lives We Live in 2018. I am absolutely excited to be having this conversation with him and to learn from his career, life, and his journey. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. And first of all, thanks a lot for that very kind introduction. Puts a lot of pressure on me to live up to some of the things you said. So I hope that I won't disappoint the audience. But really appreciate your having me on this forum and happy to share whatever I can.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, to begin with, I would like to tell us, how would you describe your life story?
Well, I think it's been a series of, I would say, very fortunate coincidences.
Yes.
So getting into this industry itself was not by design. It was the first of many happy accidents. So I did my master's in English literature, which is nowhere connected to logistics. But this just happened to be an opportunity that came along. So I joined the industry with at a very, very basic entry level, working in the Calcutta docks on some project movements, which I knew nothing about. I'd never seen a ship. I'd never seen the port. I probably knew the spelling of projects, having done my master's in English. But other than the spelling, I didn't know too much about it. But I came into this industry and I never left. And I think that that's really the key to this, that, it's such an exciting arena and it has so much to offer that there's a new challenge every day. And once you're in it, you don't leave. So I've enjoyed every moment of this journey. Along my career in logistics, I found time to do a lot of other things in life, which we'll probably talk about later. But let's just say that one of my beliefs is to never look back, right? To always look forward and to enjoy the moment. And I've certainly enjoyed every moment of my time.
Nice to know, sir. So just wanting you to explain a little more on that. My next question is, what did you like about logistics as an industry? Or what was your motivation that kept you going through the years?
So I think that the first and foremost thing is that this is a field in which you truly never stop learning.
Yes.
It is evolving all the time. Every day brings a new challenge, a new excitement. I'm still able to come to work every day, look forward to it, and feel that something new is happening. So that was the one very big factor. The other thing is it's a truly global industry. Today when the world has opened up, when I started out, the world was a much smaller arena. It was focused on the country you did business in, etc. But today, if you look at logistics, it's vast, right? It embraces end to end across the entire globe. And it's truly an international arena. And it's a business that literally never sleeps because there's always a logistics movement happening in some time zone.
Yes.
So I think that's really what attracts one to this business, that there's so many things to create, to innovate, and to internationally influence, if you like.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, after having spent almost 35 years in the industry, how do you think the dynamics of the industry has changed over the years?
So this is, as I mentioned, probably one of the fastest evolving industries. And, at one time it was all about dispatch. There was a shipment that was ready with a particular customer, and it just had to be, dispatched from the country's shores. But I think as time has gone along, people started focusing on delivery. That dispatching was not enough. It also had to be delivered to the endpoint. Then it evolved further into really, how can value be added to the entire supply chain? The supply chain definition itself became wider. So it started with the manufacturer and went all the way up to the end consumer. Then came technology that, it's not just about delivery. Where is the visibility? Where are the analytics that can really bring value and improvement to this? And it has kept on evolving. So today it's as much uh, pure logistics in terms of the shipping world, but also equally, the technology associated with it, the visibility, the quality improvements, the real addition of value across the entire chain.
Yes, yes, sir. So, sir, taking a leaf out from what you have just spoken about the industry evolving as a whole and also the impact of technology, my next question is on the following lines, where I would really like to share with us what do you think will be the impact of some of the latest technologies that we are speaking today, such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, on the logistics industry, and how ready are we to adapt them?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that this is probably the industry which is most attuned to using, artificial intelligence, blockchain, etc., because it is extensively data based. There is a lot of data available, and that data can be easily analyzed, arranged in a manner that you derive a lot of intelligence from it. So, in C.H. Robinson, for example, we actually have a Robinson lab which we have set up in Ireland, and where we globally look at solutions being driven from the data that we collate from logistics movements across the world. And this is the obvious part is obviously, how to make supply chains more efficient. What are the solutions we can provide? Because now it's really a solutions business. It's no longer just about price points. It is about how effective the solution is. And people have also become more enlightened to understand that an effective solution sometimes brings about much more monetary value than a simple differential in transactional pricing.
Yes.
But it's not limited to that. So I think today when we look at the industry, we are also looking at very importantly the environment. So how do we measure emissions, right?
Yes.
Uh, what is the impact of the logistics chain on the entire environmental ecosystem, and how can that be reduced? This is becoming a huge thing with most corporates, most businesses, and we are very much in the forefront of measuring carbon footprint and seeing ways of how to, neutralize that. Just as
Right.
one example,
Yes, sir.
intelligence also lends to, all kinds of predictive analysis, whether it is in terms of ETAs, it's in terms of forward pricing, it's in terms of procurement. So there's literally the sky is the limit in terms of how much data crunching can be done and how much can be actually derived from intelligent usage of data in this business. And I think it's something that we, in particular, in my organization, realize and prioritize big time.
Sure. Sure, sir. Thank you for that wonderful insight, sir. So, also, as much as technology is an integral part of supply chain management, we know that ours is a people driven industry. So, sir, in your opinion, what are some of the key skills that one must possess in order to be successful in this fast changing logistics environment?
So I think first of all, I'd start by completely endorsing your statement, because I think that a lot of people feel, because we talk so much about technology, and I've been talking
Right.
about technology in the past few minutes, that technology is all that drives our business. That's absolutely incorrect. Technology is a great enabler, but it's an enabler of what? It's an enabler of the talent that people bring to the business. So, as you rightly said, it is a people's business, and it is technology that enhances the great output that people can bring. It never substitutes people.
Yes.
However, having said that, I think that in this changing world, this also brings the onus onto everybody involved in this industry to constantly stay abreast of this technology, to constantly remain relevant, because technology is a great enabler if we receive it with open arms. When it becomes a threat is when we are not able to.
Right.
So one of the greatest things I think today is for us never to fall behind technology. We should embrace technology as a friend, right? And of course, the other characteristics are always to be flexible, to be adaptive to changing circumstances, and most importantly, to be good thinkers. So, the one thing that technology can't replace is the power of human thought. So, with the time that we get to think more because we use technology effectively, I think people really have to constantly think about the business, right? And how more and more value can be added to it. So those are, I think, the key attributes that, uh, be technology friendly, be abreast of technology. Not everyone can be an absolute expert at everything. I certainly am not, right? But to understand what technology can do for us, to be able to utilize the time that technology provides us, to be able to think more, and to be really flexible and adaptive, because it's a very agile world. So
Sure. Yes, sir. You've put it up in very beautiful and simple points so that the viewers can really take out these insights, and I'm sure that they'll be able to imbibe these qualities and then grow in their careers. Sir, my next question is, you've been part of senior management for so many years, and I'm sure strategizing the growth path for any organization is one of your key responsibilities. So my question to you is, how do you see the landscape of the logistics industry in India changing in the near future? And what should companies do to stay in the game?
I think that the first thing that companies in India, or for that part matter in any part of the world, need to do is to realize that this is no longer a local business. It's truly a
Right,
global business. So the ability to think internationally, to think globally, I think that's really one of the key things that every organization has to embrace in its vision.
sure.
The rest is not actually very different from what I talked about for individuals, because in the end, a corporate strategy needs to embrace what people need to do individually, and that is to be a uh, adaptable to technology, constantly exploring what technology can do for us without ever in any way, uh, you know, uh, lessening the importance of the human element. So that fine balance between adopting technology and building talent continuously, and making sure that both go hand in hand and are equally valued, and to have a very flexible, adaptive, and agile strategy. Because I think one of the things that the pandemic has taught us over the last 2 years is it completely changed the way that we did business. So, we have to use uh, technology to work in a virtual world like never before.
Right, sir.
Uh, for almost a year, we were never not in office, so we hired people, onboarded people without ever really meeting them. Right. We had to connect with customers, we had to connect with authorities, we had to keep the entire business going. And that's, I think, a clear example of how the world is different today. And we just have to
Right.
learn to cope with this. And no strategy is successful if it's too rigid and too inflexible. So,
Sure, sir. Thank you for also bringing out how the industry has changed, keeping the pandemic in mind and what can we look for in the future as well. So my next question, I feel, is something really important, and no better person other than you to answer this as well. So how important is it for one to nurture their passion? Because generally what happens, people talk about this grind, getting into the grind, and then they say that once you get into the grind, you do not have time for anything, but your life is a proof for otherwise. So, sir, I would really like you to share what do you think about why is it important or how important is it to nurture one's passion and what does it do to you on an overall success perspective?
Okay, so I would say that first of all, a passion is not a passion if it has to be nurtured, right?
Okay.
A passion will nurture itself and it will nurture us.
Mhm.
And I would say also that, you know, basically speaking for myself, I'm passionate about everything I do. So I'm passionate about my business. Uh, I'm passionate about the hobby you refer to, which is being a part-time amateur author, right? But those are not my only passions. It's also my passion to follow sport. Uh, it's my passion to spend time with my family. It's my passion to travel the world. Right? And somebody often asked me that, how do you balance all these things? How do you achieve a work-life balance?
Maybe, yes, that would really help our viewers, sir.
And I don't think it's anything you have to prioritize. I mean, maybe I'm
Okay.
oversimplifying this, but the fact of the matter is that, in all my waking hours, I won't say it's 24 by 7, because there are obviously sometimes when the body demands some rest, which varies from individual to individual. But certainly in all my waking hours, I have never honestly had a situation where I've had to compromise one or the other.
Wow.
So, work gets the priority it deserves. It doesn't matter what time of the day or time of the week it is, but it's never at the cost of family. It is never at the cost of watching a good cricket match. It's never at the cost of watching a movie or a web show that I would like to see. It just happens. And I think that it's really that we don't need to overthink these things. We need to identify what is it that brings us happiness, what is it that brings us satisfaction, and then it will happen. So if someone were to ask me, I would say, leave the jargon aside, just do what you are comfortable with, and a passion will find its own route.
Lovely, sir. Very, very nicely said. I think for a lot of us, it's something that we will take away. Like you said, leave the jargon aside and do what makes you really happy. So let's put it all and be happy. Sir, my last question before we wind up is what is the message you would like to share with the aspiring logisticians, so to say?
Well, I think first of all, I'd like to tell them that they're in the right place. Uh, this is a truly exciting industry for those who want to constantly learn, who want to constantly grow. It's a truly international marketplace. Uh, it's an opportunity to influence something that goes across continents, across countries, across time zones, and it's a place where you can continue to be creative and innovative as much as your capacity is to be. So, for a long time, logistics has been considered this one unglamorous field, which means a lot of
Yes.
paperwork. But I think today it is one of the most creative and innovative fields that youngsters can be in. The question is, how aspirational are you? It's not a place for people who are not ambitious. It's not a place for people who want a 9 to 5 life. It is a place for someone who really wants to create. And for those who want to be here, I think the sky is the limit. Uh, there are three things that I always say to youngsters in this field, and that is think big, think more, and always think forward. And I think with that, there's no reason why you can't be a success in logistics. And I really would like to wish everyone the very best because this is a great place to be.
So thank you so much. On that note, on behalf of Business School of Logistics and Shipping, I take this opportunity to thank you for having taken time out and also sharing such great insights with us, sir. Thank you once again. It was such a
Thank you
pleasure
very much
having
for
you.
having me.